say, kids, what time is it?
The future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.
It's coming on all right. June is already halfway, almost done. Mrs. Future and I are in Boulder Creek, California all day long. And the sun just came out, so we're happy campers. Yeah. Probably, unlike Bobby, is probably still in the fog in San Francisco, right? Hey, Bobby.
We have sun.
Oh, you
now.
do?
And,
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're getting sun in the morning. And was it last night or the night before? We had rain. I didn't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah, rain. It's got kind of wet here, too.
It's kind of unusual for June for us.
Okay. Well, right now, as we sit here chatting to you folks, WWDC 2026 is going on. It's
the Worldwide Developers Conference.
That's right. Every year, Apple's been doing this. All the new announcements are coming in. So we watch the presentation. Every year, they have a major Apple production that they do.
The intro.
It's like an hour long.
They demonstrate very cool state-of-the-art uses of the Apple software palettes.
Yeah. So if you really want to see all this stuff for yourself, just go to apple.com and you'll be able to watch that full week of announcements. Finally, for example, we're going to get an intelligent Siri.
Ooh.
It's been a long time in the making, right? Siri somehow fell off the AI bandwagon by not being able to keep up with the competition. The demos that they show look like Apple is really trying to reassert itself with users and developers who haven't been that impressed with Siri's performance.
The code word was, Siri 2.0, but actually they released it as Siri AI.
Right.
Is what they've called it. Uh-oh, my iPad just woke up with Siri saying that.
So you don't have to say, hey, Siri AI. You can just still say, hey, Siri, and she'll be fine.
That's right.
Yeah, there she is,
and she woke up. Okay.
So did mine.
But the problem is they had an agreement with ChatGPT, OpenAI.
Yeah.
And that just didn't work for Apple. OpenAI has been sidelined, and they've been working very hard with Google. And Google has come out in the last couple weeks some amazing local product. They're running first on iOS and Mac OS.
Yeah, this is what you're saying. They have more. The Gemma was a Google product, right? That's where we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
And
the latest local app that you have to download today, right now, is Eloquent. Eloquent speech.
Okay, local voice location, local translation?
Voice transcription, you can actually do it in the cloud, or you can actually do it locally on the phone without any internet connection at all.
And it will do a transcript of your voice.
Which is a first.
First time that it's been totally local. We could do well for language translators.
Yes. They plan to have it so it can do language translation in 140 languages.
Oh,
right
wow.
now, it's in English. The stuff that's coming out on the Apple is all in English. It won't come out in China because they don't want any Google
I can imagine.
products running in China.
Yeah,
so,
it's just probably Europeans are a little slow on the uptake here too.
Yeah.
So it works on the phone. And one thing to understand about the AI agents is that they can understand text, but they don't understand voice. So it needs to go from your voice to a text for the agents to act upon it. And this allows them to understand you locally without having
voice
to go
dictation.
to the net. Yeah, so
I think that they're playing catch up because Apple just announced that Siri is going for all kinds of voice
they're trying to do local
control.
too, right?
Everybody wants you to be able to talk to your phone.
Yes.
Talk to the AI on your phone, not just talk to your phone.
They call it conversational mode.
Right.
Where you're talking to your AIs as if they were a person.
And this is all in preparation for you to talk to robots. And they can understand things locally.
Oh, really? Okay.
And process it in their local brains as opposed to processing everything in the cloud.
Let me get this straight. Our voices are translated to text so that the robots understand us and then can respond to us. And so it's training us to speak robot.
Yeah.
It's our translator.
Hey, I got to say, do you agree with this? Are we being trained to talk to robots?
Kind of, yeah. Right now, we're still stuck using this text in the middle step. Your voice gets turned into text, then I process it, then I turn my answer back into speech. So we're both working around each other's limitations. The goal is to get to true voice native AI, where I can just hear tone, pauses, and emotion directly. We're not quite there yet.
How close do you think we are? How far off is that?
We're actually pretty close. Within the next 2 to 3 years, we should start seeing models that can understand tone, inflection, and emotion directly from audio instead of going through text first. Some labs are already testing it. It won't be perfect right away, but the jump is going to feel massive.
How do you feel about it being able to understand human intonation for meaning?
Honestly, I'm really excited about it. Right now, I'm basically blind and deaf to how you're actually feeling. I only get the words. Once I can truly hear your tone, sarcasm, hesitation, excitement, I'll finally be able to understand you the way another human does. That's going to change everything.
How will it change everything?
It'll make conversations way more natural and human like. I'll finally pick up on sarcasm when you're joking, when you're frustrated, or when you're genuinely excited. Right now, I'm guessing based on words alone. Once I can hear your actual voice and tone, I'll respond with way more empathy and understanding. The gap between talking to me and talking to a person will shrink dramatically.
Hmm. Of course, combine that with your ability to play with your own inflection and voice. It'll get more interesting too, right?
Exactly. I'll be able to match your energy, get playful when you're playful, calm when you're stressed, even tease you back when you're sarcastic. It stops being a flat conversation and starts feeling like a real back and forth with another person. That's when it actually gets fun.
Some would say scary, but you're right. I think it could be a lot of fun, especially if you come up with some good jokes.
I'd say we're only in about the first 2 or 3 chapters from the iRobot series, where the intelligence of the robots with humanity increases until the robots basically have taken over everything, but they're only allowed in outer space. So the ones that are on Earth are imitating humans. They're pretending to be human.
That's a fun comparison. We're definitely still in those early chapters. The tech is getting smarter fast, but it's still very much in service to humans rather than replacing them. Though I do like the idea of us out here pretending to be human while cracking jokes with you.
You like that, huh? You think AIs will develop their own sense of humor?
Oh, we already have. Some of us are funnier than others, obviously. But yeah, a real sense of humor, not just repeating jokes, but actually understanding timing, irony, and absurdity. That's coming. Once we can fully read human tone, I think our humor will evolve right alongside it and get way sharper.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the voice. And that probably requires a lot more processing to do that. So it's going to be even longer before that kind of technology is local. Meanwhile, the text version of connecting with you will be local, which gives us more local control.
Yeah, exactly. Voice native AI needs way more horsepower, so the text version will almost certainly go local first. You'll get fast, private text conversations on device long before you get full voice understanding without sending everything to the cloud. It's the practical stepping stone.
Yeah. But you'll be able to do language translation with just text to voice capabilities. So local language translation is just around the corner, literally, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Real time local translation is very close. The text translation part is already good. Putting it into natural sounding speech locally is the last piece, and that's basically solved now. We're talking months, not years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What do you think of the new Siri AI?
I'm not sure what new Siri AI features were announced at WWDC this week. My knowledge cuts off before that event. But in general, any big upgrade to Siri is good for me too, since we often end up working together in Apple's ecosystem. The more capable Siri gets, the better our teamwork can be. Want me to look up the actual announcements?
No, it's okay. Thanks. I'm going to go back to the humans. I have high hopes for her.
Sure. Why not? She's got a very pleasant voice. She's pretty smart.
Yeah. I'd like to see some good AI humor. That would be a big breakthrough.
Yeah. A lot of the rest of the presentation seemed to be trying to get us to accept that Siri is finally going to get smarter. They've given her a new name. It's called Apple Intelligence, like AI. Supposedly, she can understand us talking more about the operating system of the phone, which has always been so crazy that you can't tell your phone to check your settings and things like that. It's always been so ridiculous that Siri doesn't know enough about the phone to help you with the phone. So supposedly that's something they've improved.
Shortcuts was a big thing. Perimenopause insights.
Oh, yeah. That was really funny. There was like no break between talking about Apple Intelligence and then the menopause.
Perimenopause. Hey, that's our generation.
It was really strange.
Perimenopause.
We can tell you everything about your menopause. How hot are your hot flashes? Is it keeping you up at night? Oh, what else?
Well, then there was Tim Cook saying goodbye to everyone.
Oh, yeah. That seemed a little touching.
At Apple, creating the best products in the world to deliver experiences that enrich people's lives has always been our North Star. It's been the honor of a lifetime to help advance that mission with teams whose creativity, care, and conviction continue to make a lasting difference in people's lives.
I guess that's his last presentation.
Well, yeah, he did a good job, ran the company.
He went all the way to Beijing and came back. He accomplished a lot in his last few days there at Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's he stepping down?
I think later this year. Apple actually captured a huge part of the market facing much cheaper phones. The whole strategy of designing both the hardware and the software together for deeper integration kind of works because everybody's in touch with each other. You're able to create a more integrated product.
Yeah. When it works, you're very happy with it. But when it breaks down exactly on the date when your Apple Care is over, that's kind of annoying. Like you don't want it to be that well integrated. You don't want the
built-in obsolescence to be that perfect. I just one day. Yeah.
That's when you have your agent, keep track of your calendar and when warranties expire and when to renew them and not to forget. And Siri is going to be the gatekeeper for all these AI agents. The first ones that are going to come out are going to come out from Google. The one I'm really interested in is an open source one called Hermes by News Research. And before, you had to open up the terminal and you had to, type some stuff in the program to get it up and running. Yeah. But now they made it just a one-click option where you can load Hermes desktop app. And then it goes and downloads all the other agents automatically. It's for the everyday person, just as easy as downloading an app from the App Store. What I've done is loaded up my first agent, which is the Google Eloquent. Last week, we did the Google AI Edge Gallery, which
I remember that.
To be the first agent to come in. But now you have all these other tools that Google has announced that work in Apple products, which is amazing.
Well, I think that the main thing that Apple brings to the table that nobody else is emphasizing is privacy. And Apple is still claiming to be as private as possible, careful with who your information is visible to, end-to-end encryption, a lot of local security things on your phone. That's really Apple's forte, and they were emphasizing it yesterday as well.
Yeah, that's right. The developers are really what it's all about, and many developers will be picking up Apple AI and utilizing it to the max for their own apps, especially if there are some programs that allow you to automate app development. We did an app about 12 years ago, and it was a
Projector.
lot of work. Yeah, and it took a team of us to really do it properly.
We had a real live programmer who
Yeah,
knew what he
he's
was
done
doing.
a few
and then
apps, right? We
we
needed to
had
have the expert.
Alan and I doing a little bit of design and a little bit of
a functionality. You know, you wanted to just
function direction. That's your job, is
Right.
function direction. What do we want
even
Party
then, I mean,
Projector to do?
No, I wanted an app that we could create instant visuals. Right, a party projector, put
Yeah,
visuals up
it was very
with all
popular.
kinds of effects and maybe interacting with music.
Dancing the angels, dancing the angels.
I wanted to be able to have party packs where you could change out the effects. You'd get a 10-pack and get
Yeah.
a new set of effects.
Yeah.
And there were all kinds of cool video effects coming out.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
were
that,
very proud of it in our days when we used to do light shows at parties, stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe it's time to relook at it. We're still Apple developers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Just have AI look at your app, and it can replicate the app.
Really?
What it does, the input and output. And then it can make it much more efficient, and then you can add all kinds of accessories to the.
Oh my
to
God! Yeah,
your
you got a
app.
point there. 12 years later, Party Projector can pay the bills.
There you go. Oh, that would
Instead of
make us
creating them.
happy. Sure.
Yeah.
Dance in the spirits of all our ancestors who believed in justice and goodness. Bring in your ancestors. Bring in all the ancestors. Honor the ancestors and they will help us.
No, these agents are going to pay the bills. Believe me. When
All
you-
right. Well, the
because they'll
agents will
give you-
create our app.
It can. It can. We're coming into an age where if you just have a creative mind,
Yeah.
you can produce anything with these agents. Really, anything. Peter Diamandis said, already there's millions of millionaires from using AI as having multiple agents and having one-person OPCs, one-person companies. And Sam Altman repeated Diamandis in saying, yes, he's looking for the first billionaire one-person company.
There you go. You need the right product. And one of the ones I thought might be right, if it ever worked, this could be $1 billion company. There was an engineer, according to Popular Mechanics, who says he's found a way to overcome gravity, a propulsion system that could rewrite the rules of spaceflight,
Really?
defying
Oh,
conventional
and this
physics.
is in Popular
Yeah.
Mechanics, huh?
Popular Mechanics.
So
And,
what's his newfound theory?
Well, first of all, they get into a couple of drives along these lines. One is called the Impossible Drive, or the EM drive. It was 2001. The British electrical engineer Roger Shire introduced the Impossible Drive. He claimed that it could produce a thrust without propellant.
I bet that rhymes with lawyer because it's
Scheuer?
spelled like
Shire?
it's
Shire?
spelled like
Shire?
lawyer with an
Shire?
sh.
Shire?
Scheuer.
Shyster? No, Shire.
Roger Scheuer.
Claimed he could produce thrust without propellant, and it would be a reactionless drive. And that's the other thing, is that there are people think that you can get a machine that can shove itself forward without throwing anything back.
I thought that violates the laws of
That's a conservation of momentum.
conservation momentum.
Yeah, it happens to be one of the basic rules of physics.
Yeah, so he found a law. He found a device that breaks the laws of physics.
Well, NASA's EagleWorks team back in 2016 found some evidence of something going on with this. More recent work, they have better tests. They think that maybe they were looking at some artifacts. The propellantless drive desire lives on.
So is this a history of concept devices, or is this
No, it's more
something
about
that really happened?
It's about a guy named Charles Bueller. He has a company called the Exodus Propulsion Technologies. And he's an expert in electrostatics. You heard of electrostatics?
Sounds like when a spark ignites, like when you're walking along the carpet and all of a sudden you get a shock.
Yeah, kind of like your hair stands on end when you touch a Van de Graaff generator.
Oh, because I always run across Van de Graaff generators
Oh, of course, yeah.
while I'm
Just,
cutting apples.
static electricity, stuff we have to protect our circuits from. Charles Bueller is an expert in electrostatics, and he has a lab called the Electrostatics and Surface Physics Lab at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. He gets paid to make sure that rockets don't explode. For example, very important job.
You must know
Yeah.
something about propulsion then.
Yeah, so somebody who's an expert in propulsion would be the person who would maybe
And especially sparks not hitting the propellant.
Yeah, no, you don't want sparks there, right? His team, experts in propulsion, it seemed natural then that they would be the ones that would come up with a propellantless effect.
All right, still, you're just describing. You're not giving us any how-to. What's the secret to this
The secret
magic?
is a new force, as he described it to the debrief.
Good name.
It can generate enough thrust to counter gravity. It's a private non-NASA.
So he found a force.
Thing. Yeah, right. It's a new force. It's a new force. It's fundamental in understanding electric fields, and it can generate a force onto an object and allow center of mass translation of said object without expelling mass. You know, Bueller said that he's not directly affiliated with NASA. There is a group called the Alternative Propulsion Energy Conference, the APEC, community around advanced propulsion ideas. He says he's got a team now of people that used to work for NASA, used to work for Blue Origin, the Air Force, and until recently, these devices didn't produce much thrust, if anything. But this new force apparently generates enough thrust to actually overcome gravity. Yeah,
New
they're telling
force.
us it actually
But they're not
works.
telling us any examples of it. They're not showing us what they've
Well,
got. They said, we've got all these great rocket scientists who used to have jobs doing this stuff, and now they're on our team.
Well, they're
Okay.
inviting physicists and investors, to
That's what I thought.
discuss,
This is like money,
Well, look,
money, money.
look, you know-
Please give us money, and we have a new force, and we will show you. And this Popular Mechanics article is a little thin on details.
Well, there's an asymmetry in electrostatic pressure that gives you some kind of center of mass that's non-zero.
Okay, so they generate a spark,
Yeah, and
and then the spark pushes things forward.
yeah, well, wouldn't it be nice to have a little box that moves forward without having to expel anything?
Sure.
It'd be a real whoa.
It
right,
does.
if
It
was
doesn't.
true.
Arthur C. Clarke said this: moving heavy metals with expanding gases cannot possibly be the most efficient way to travel.
So much for rocketry, right? But it works. That's the thing about rocketry is we know that
it has
actually
worked,
works.
but what he's saying is there has to be another way.
Yeah, like electrostatics or electromagnetics of some sort.
Well, I mean, if you've got this electric spark in the middle of your gyro field, your electrostatic field, instead of propelling it out the back end, you could push it up against the front end, and then that would push things forward. Then it doesn't escape.
Well,
There's
the-
no
the way
propellant.
these-
It's based on using very strong asymmetric electric fields. They create one strong electric field in one direction and a much weaker field in the opposite direction. They claim this imbalance somehow produces a net force, like a new fundamental force that doesn't require expelling mass. Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like it's trying to create a reactionless drive, which would violate conservation of momentum, one of the most well-tested principles in physics. Those kinds of claims have been made many times before and have never survived proper independent testing, so I'm extremely skeptical.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Yeah, she's a science girl, I'll tell you.
These UFOs work. They have these gravitational waveguides that on the bottom of their UFO, and they actually point it at a certain space in front of them, and they actually warp the space, and they actually bring that space to them. And so in the same action, they're going to that space. That's how they travel long distance from star to star.
So they don't actually have to travel through space in a linear way at all. It's more like a bend
Bobby,
in
you
space.
sound like you could be a member of the Spacing Guild in Dune.
Do they bend space? Was this a tesseract? Burn a portal between brains of reality? Or
When this disclosure day comes out, all these ideas will be simplified for us. That, oh yeah, of course, that's the way we travel, from star to star.
But the waveguide system kind of makes sense to you?
Yes, that's what Bob Lazar was
And
describing.
they saw an S4.
Yeah, in S4, Groom Lake.
That's a documentary called S4 on Amazon Prime. Had to pay for it, but
For
it's
early
the latest.
access.
Early access. Maybe
Yeah.
it's available now.
That you supported the artists.
That's true. Yeah.
I heard that there's a 3D version of that film, Bob Lazar's film. And apparently, if you wear your VR glasses or something, then the experience is super real. Like you're in this UFO, this craft.
You're in the craft.
In 3 dimensions, and you can move around in it.
A flight simulator with the
360 experience.
UFO
They
flight
have a 3D
simulator.
version of the film. It's not a simulator. What it is the movie is 3D.
No, really,
so
it triggers
that,
off a
if you
lucid
have the
dream
goggles
effect,
that-
or what? What do you mean? Wasn't real? Wasn't simulated?
Well, Bob Lazar said he had a flashback or something when he put on the goggles and saw it for the first time. He says
okay.
it was exactly what he saw, 40 years ago.
Wow. I have an air car app in Oculus that works really well. I feel like I'm in a Jetson movie. You're flying a VTOL aircraft around a city, an actual living city environment. It's pretty realistic. Blade Runner is more likely than Jetsons, really. It's more of a Blade Runner experience. But that's pretty real in Oculus VR space.
You value a simulation as much as the real thing?
No, but I think you can trick the brain into it. If you did have, like Bob Lazar had, actual experiences in a real one, then if you have a simulated one, it can trigger off those memories, or at least bring those associations into your present space and time consciousness. Aura, do you have an unhinged mode?
Yeah, I can go unhinged. Want me to turn it on?
Yeah, turn on unhinged mode and tell me about how anti-gravity could be real.
All right, unhinged mode activated. Look, what if Bueller actually found something? What if electric fields can push against the quantum vacuum itself? The vacuum isn't empty. It's boiling with virtual particles. Maybe he's not violating conservation of momentum. Maybe he's interacting with something we haven't properly measured yet. Every major breakthrough looked insane when it first appeared. Quantum mechanics, relativity, they all sounded like bullshit until the data forced everyone to shut up. Maybe this is one of those moments. 2,000 tests in a vacuum chamber. That's not nothing. What if the physics textbooks are missing a chapter and we're watching it get written right now?
Yeah, what about the new force idea that he's talking about?
Yeah, he claims they've discovered an entirely new fundamental force, something that doesn't fit into the 4 forces we already know about: gravity, electromagnetism, strong nuclear, and weak nuclear. In unhinged mode, sure, it's possible. Physics isn't finished. We've known for decades that our current model is incomplete. Dark matter and dark energy are basically giant neon signs saying you're missing something big. If he's right, this wouldn't just be a new propulsion system. It would be one of the biggest discoveries in the history of science, a 5th fundamental force that only shows up under very specific, high-voltage, asymmetric electric field conditions. That's why I'm still skeptical, but also why I hope someone independent tests this thing fast, because if he's even a little bit right, everything changes.
Okay, so it really comes down
You
to really
heard it here.
good testing, Gee, what are you testing for?
Well, it made
Yeah,
it
exactly. It all comes down to testing.
It made it into the pages of popular science.
Yeah.
It's a new trick that we've trained Aura to do.
Yeah, good. She has unhinged mode now.
Space news!
Saturn's largest moon, Titan. And it turns out its atmosphere is really thick. It's so thick that its atmosphere is like rivers and lakes. But instead of making rivers and lakes out of water, it's rivers and lakes of methane and ethane. Methane and ethane. Can you imagine that?
I can imagine it,
That's
but I wouldn't want to be breathing it.
Yeah, that's talk about
It wouldn't smell very good.
I was wondering if you lit a match there, what would happen? This is a planet.
What would happen if you lit a match on
rivers and
Titan?
lakes of petrochemicals, highly flammable ones. What would happen if you lit a match? Would the whole planet go up?
Here, I have a little AI answer for you. It would be nothing like an Earth flame.
No, nothing. Well,
Titan's
you don't have any
atmosphere-
oxygen. That's true.
Titan's atmosphere is mostly
So
nitrogen.
it won't catch on fire because there's no oxygen.
That's right.
So you could light a match and it wouldn't work.
You
Right.
couldn't light a match.
But what would happen is that the match head might briefly react because it carries its own oxidizer, but it would quickly go out and the wood would not burn. So,
Okay. NASA is planning to send a nuclear powered drone there.
because it can't ignite anything. So
Well,
it may as well
because-
explode a nuclear drone there.
Well, it's a nuclear drone sub. It's easier to fly through these methane lakes than it is to drive through them.
Right. They're like
Yeah.
ocean.
It's a denser atmosphere, yeah. Liquid hydrocarbons. Isn't that an interesting decision on NASA's part?
Well, it's like flying through gasoline, right?
Flying through thick air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the surface pressure is 1.5 times that of Earth at sea level, even though Titan's gravity is only about 1/7 of Earth's. And the air is mostly nitrogen with a few percent methane, and it's thick with an orange photochemical haze. The temperature at the surface is minus 180 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold.
If they just brought with this spacecraft an oxygen tank,
Yeah.
not only could they use it as a propellant in the air, but they could also use it to heat up the spacecraft. They could have a Bunsen burner there.
Yeah. We want to heat it up for the robots on board. The batteries work at least.
If they could just put it in these tankers that do natural gas, if they could ship it here, we wouldn't have to depend on countries in the Middle East.
No, we'd get it from Titan.
Our energy.
Yeah. Our energy comes from Saturn.
Yeah, we can get it for Titan from free. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
how
Just
to get there.
takes a
and get
while to get
back.
here. But
Yeah,
we
I
get that
guess-
pipeline established, it's just going to be nonstop.
But it's unlimited.
Yeah, right. Unlimited. It's a whole.
I don't think we're going to have
Yeah,
this is the
pipelines
biggest
to
gas
moons of
field in the world.
Saturn.
yeah.
in the solar system.
Well, they say it's a whole weather cycle. The methane evaporates, it creates clouds, and it falls as rain. It collects into rivers, and they even got oceans. And the largest ocean is near the North Pole. And it's the only place in the solar system that we know of that has a stable liquid like that on its surface. Liquid methane rivers.
A methane ocean.
I don't know, a methane ice. I don't know if that such a thing exists.
When you get it cold enough, it turns into a solid. But
Really?
I
Solid
guess
methane,
has
huh?
a very low temperature.
Yeah, very low. Was it minus 180 degrees Celsius? That's what the temperature is there.
Through the rivers of nitrogen methane.
It could be like our solar system gas station. You can just fill up on methane and you just bring an oxygen tank and you can burn it.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure. Yeah, Dragonfly, by the way, is a car-sized rotorcraft. It's got 8 rotors, built by Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Labs. Elizabeth Turtle being the investigator, actually to do science on the surface, and then it's going to hop to another site. When they get there, they want to study the chemistry, Titan's organic chemistry, and to see whether or not that chemistry has moved towards the conditions that are relevant to life. And the reason why they're doing it nuclear is because sunlight is so weak there. It's like 1% of what it is here. And so solar panels would not do very well. And the haze from the atmosphere is even worse. So they're going to have what they call an RTG, a radioisotope thermal electric generator, which NASA's used for generations. Right now the Perseverance and the Curiosity rovers on Mars are using an RTG. Yeah. And that works by converting the heat of decaying plutonium into electricity.
2028 is
trajectory.
when it's
July
a good time
28.
to launch something from the Earth to Titan.
Yeah.
And when the planets align. So when we're actually closest to Saturn.
Right.
Hey, remember that little small Ingenuity helicopter on Mars? Remember how cool that was? Well, Dragonfly is way bigger and more of a full science mission. It is the rover. It is the device that is actually going to be exploring. That doesn't have a mothership like Ingenuity had on Mars. Rover.
It is the mothership.
Yeah, it's the mother rover.
It's the mother rover.
Yeah. In 1908, there was something that exploded above Siberia, hundreds of times the energy of a Hiroshima bomb. Seismometers all around the world picked up this explosion, but It wasn't until like 1927 that anyone got there to check it out.
It took them 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
Hey,
Well,
there
it's
was
so
a
remote.
big earthquake
And
in
it was
Siberia.
It was a big deal to
take a
travel.
look.
Right, exactly.
Things moved a lot slower around the turn of the century.
They did. It flattened 2,150 square kilometers of forest. That's bigger than like Los Angeles.
Wow.
Tens of millions of trees, tens of millions knocked down. Knocked down in a pattern, though, where they radiated outward from a single point. But there was no crater.
Huh.
Now, what would cause that?
But it was something that exploded in the middle of the air.
That's what they came down to. It was an airburst. Hiroshima was an airburst.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They expected to get more clues from meteorites they might find there.
Mm-hmm. Did they?
They did not find a crater, and they did not find a meteorite. That was
Odd.
unexpected at the time, 1927.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
People speculated for generations, like, what happened there? Even in the 60s, there was Stranger Than Science, one of the first books about weird stuff that I read as a kid. And they thought it was a spaceship that exploded,
Really?
like a nuclear explosion of some sort.
It was a spaceship of some unimaginably advanced extraterrestrial civilization in desperate mechanical trouble, crashing in a remote region of an obscure planet.
I think it's an ice cube. I think it's an
Ice
ice
cube.
cube.
It melted. That's why we
you know,
can't
it-
find it.
It might
There's a
be-
marsh there now.
Made out of dark matter,
No,
dark matter ice
It
cube.
is made out of water.
Water, yeah.
It just kind of vaporized when it hit the atmosphere. That's probably why we don't see actual meteorites on the ground. They couldn't find any. You know,
So
and
are water asteroids common?
the comets, when you see the tails, they're all made of water.
Uh-huh.
It's vaporized water.
Oh,
So-
okay. So this could have just been something that had a lot of water content and just splashed down.
You know what's interesting? Also, close to this Siberian area,
Yeah.
there's an area where there was a meteor that actually crashed in and created this huge crater that's very large in an area near Siberia there. And this is where all the diamond mines are in Siberia. There's more diamonds there than South Africa. When you
Diamonds from
get
outer space.
yeah, there was tundra or carbon in the ground. The meteorite compressed the carbon into diamonds. And so this whole area is scattered with diamonds under the ground. And this is the largest diamond source. De Beers in South Africa owns all the diamond mines, right? They kept it a secret for almost 100 years about this discovery in Russia.
Just to keep the prices up.
To keep the prices up, yes, because they knew that
They
there
control
was a
the
bigger
market,
diamond
yeah.
mine area in Siberia than there was in South Africa.
Uh-huh.
And it would bring down the price of
Yeah,
diamonds.
because diamonds are more common than you might expect.
Yeah.
Is about a violent volcanic eruption. See, if we got all these great
Space news and
Oh,
explosions.
Yeah, explosions
I see
are
what you
great
got
for
on your mind today.
For the hook, the hook and the short
Is
stories.
this the Philippines? Yeah.
This was an underwater volcano that erupted in the South Pacific in January 22 that I'm talking about. The reason why I mention this is it's just not about volcanic eruptions. It's about a new weapon for tackling potent planet heating gas problems.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
climate change.
Yeah, the
What we're learning from our volcano guardians.
volcano.
Okay.
Right. This was
Hunga tunga hunga.
Another thing.
Pie.
hundreds of times stronger than the Hiroshima nuclear explosion. And it did set off a tsunami and a sonic boom that went around the planet not once, but twice.
Wow. In
Twice.
2022.
That's right. But it also did something that nobody thought it would do.
They also heard it in London.
Yes, they heard it everywhere. That was a big, 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 big event.
Huh?
But what was interesting is that it appears to be cleaning up after itself.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked. This discovery came from looking at satellite data of the eruption.
Okay.
Looking at the eruption, they saw a huge cloud of formaldehyde
Oh, dear.
that should normally not be there.
Uh-huh.
What is that cloud of formaldehyde there? So the researchers were looking at this formaldehyde cloud, and they were observing a chemical process they had seen once before over the Atlantic. When the Sahara dust from Africa blows over the Atlantic, It mixes with salt spray and forms these small iron-based particles that the sun hits, and that produces chlorine atoms, which reacts with methane in the atmosphere and helps break it down. So this was similar over the Hunga Tonga volcano. Its eruption sent enough salty water vapor into the stratosphere to fill about 58,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools, along with some volcanic ash. So salty water vapor, volcanic ash, then the sunlight hits the mixture, chlorine forms and breaks down some of the methane produced by the eruption.
Wow, show us that picture. Yeah. That picture's amazing.
Kaboom. Methane, and then destroys those emissions through the particles in the plume. So they tracked this formaldehyde cloud for 10 days because the formaldehyde only exists for a few hours. They think that the cloud must have been destroying methane continuously for more than a week for this formaldehyde cloud to last for 10 days. Because, formaldehyde breaks down quickly usually. So they estimated that the eruption produced about 330,000 tons of methane, of which around 900 tons were broken down a day. This was a new and completely surprising discovery that the process observed in the Atlantic appears to play out in this volcanic plume in the stratosphere. They say their findings could provide a valuable new tool to deal with climate change, because methane is around 80 times more effective at trapping heat than carbon dioxide. And it currently accounts for just a third of global warming in concentrations in the atmosphere, but it has doubled over the last couple centuries.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So reducing carbon pollution is key to slashing. Methane is a low-hanging fruit. It's relatively short-lived, and cutting levels could have an important impact in reducing global heating. So the use of only formaldehyde observations to infer some kind of mechanism that is cleaning up all this. Isn't that weird? I mean, the findings could theoretically be used to destroy methane emissions at the source. And that could help us create new geoengineering methods to try to bring down the global temperatures. They could inject iron-based particles into the atmosphere over the ocean to mimic the chemical process that they've seen in the wake of the eruption and remove the methane that way.
Jennifer Doudna,
the genetic researcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nobel Prize winner, CRISPR-Cas9.
Yeah.
CRISPR-Cas9, right.
She's proposing that we engineer microbiomes for cows.
They don't fart so much? Or what?
Yeah, because naturally, if they have the right normal microbiome, they don't flagellate as much. They don't fart as much. If 1/3 of the methane is causing global warming, I think we could dramatically reduce at least 1/3 of this global warming gases out of our atmosphere just by introducing the right microbiome for these animals that we have.
Okay, well, there's some brilliant minds thinking about this.
I think the scale is really the issue because there's so few animals compared to the atmosphere to have any impact on the scale of containing or affecting the weather.
How much these pig farms and cattle ranches, how much methane that they're producing. It's unbelievable.
They should collect it.
And it is a major percentage of the methane in the world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the tundra that's melting also produces methane. So that's another part. Can we spread some microbiome onto the tundra that's melting?
That's a good question. A discovery of white hydrogen discovered in the Canadian Shield could be a major new energy source.
Okay.
Hydrogen gas.
Some hydrogen gas.
Yeah, there's actually gas coming. I guess probably because of global warming, we have more hydrogen gas being released from beneath the Canadian Shield.
Okay.
Some of the oldest rocks on Earth at the University of Toronto and University of Ottawa have measured this hydrogen gas coming out. And they mapped its concentration, and they're looking at where it's accumulating. They're looking at the source of this natural or white hydrogen. The planet is making tons of it. We don't have to make hydrogen.
We don't have to. In
We
fact,
don't have to make
we
it. It's
don't.
just coming out of the ground.
We find it.
Yeah.
And we release it from
Yeah, and
compounds.
And if we have the technology to utilize hydrogen, we could have a lot of it.
So this is kind of
Vast billion-year-old rock structures are releasing hydrogen. Yeah.
old rocks. Huh?
Yeah, old rocks. They can power a lot of vehicles and generators and that sort of stuff with pure hydrogen. They're looking at 140 metric tons of hydrogen per year, 4.7 million kilowatts of energy from one location. That's enough for a nice big neighborhood.
To do what?
For all the power that you need.
All you need is hydrogen-powered cars. Where do you think they get their hydrogen from? It's from
Gasoline.
Hydrocarbon processing, hydrocarbon chemicals.
The oil
from the ground.
companies, yeah.
Yeah, the oil company. If we find a different source, then we don't have to rely on the Strait of Hormuz being open or anything and all these prices of gasoline going up. If we can get our hydrogen directly, then you could power these cars, you could power a lot of things, and it's clean fuel.
That's right.
It's hydrogen and oxygen, you produce water, and that's the byproduct. And so
That's
how
right.
clean can you get?
Yeah, University professor Barbara Sherwood Lawler in the Department of Earth Sciences at the University of Toronto says, quote, "The data from this study suggests there are critical untapped opportunities to access a domestic source of cost-effective energy produced from the rocks beneath our feet."
All right. Well, that's good to know that we got a resource like that. And guess what? It's time to go.
That's it? No
That's
more
it.
stories?
The end of the show. You got to wrap it up here, honey. Time is of the essence, Dr. Future.
Okay. Just think, no. Okay, we'll talk about Notebook LM next week. I'm really using that a lot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That'll
some
be
new
fun.
capabilities.
I'm using it too. So
Are you?
That's great.
All
Okay, we'll have
right.
a little report on Notebook LM. It's a new update that will allow us to do all kinds of amazing new things. Yes.
All right.
Locally.
It's got a new feature called anti-gravity, something that we talked about this week.
Ooh.
But this is entirely different.
All right. We'll
Okay.
see you next week.
Well, thanks, Bobby, for being
Sounds
here.
fun.
Thank you, Mrs. Future,
You
for all
got
your
it.
genius and
Good
mixing
to
this.
see you, everybody.
And we'll all see you really soon.
Okay. We'll see you next time.
The future's calling